I was only 11 years old when my entire world was ripped apart. One moment, I was lying in my cozy cabin aboard a sailboat with my family. The next, I was alone, floating on a tiny cork raft in the middle of the ocean. No food. No water. Just the burning sun above, the vast sea below. And the haunting question. Why am I still alive, when they are all gone? In November of 1961, my father, Arthur Debrault, decided to take us on the sailing trip of a lifetime. We'd been planning it for months. My dad loved the sea and wanted us to sail from Florida through the Bahamas. Just 1 week before heading back to Wisconsin, he chartered a yacht called the Bluebell. A 60-foot ketch with white sails and dark wooden decks. It seemed so grand to me at the time. The captain was a man named Julian Harvey. A handsome, quiet man who brought along his wife, Mary Dean. At first, everything was magical. We snorkeled in crystal clear water, explored islands, and ate fresh fish on deck under the stars. But I didn't know that those nights would be the last I'd ever spend with my family. It was Sunday night, November 12th. I went to bed in my little cabin, just like always. My sister Renee was already asleep. I remember hearing voices. A thump. Then silence. And then suddenly, I was awake. My cabin was filling with water. My mind raced. Was there a leak? Did we hit something? I rushed up the companionway. On the deck I saw Julian Harvey. I asked what happened. He shoved me back down. The next thing I knew, I was in the dark, alone, as seawater gushed in. Where was my family? I climbed back up. This time, I saw blood. A knife. A woman's body. I didn't scream. I couldn't. Harvey didn't say a word. He just lowered a dinghy, got in, and vanished into the night. I don't know what told me to move, but I found a small white cork float. No sail, no oars. Just big enough for one small girl. I climbed on, and drifted into the dark. The sun rose the next morning, blinding and merciless. I had no water. No food. No idea where I was. The sea was endless. The sky was empty. I was burned by the sun during the day, frozen by wind at night. My lips cracked. My skin blistered. I saw hallucinations, ships, islands, my family calling to me. I spoke to God. I asked him if I was going to die. But something in me refused to give up. I remembered my dad's words. You're strong, Terry. You're our little skipper. I clung to that. To hope. On the third day, something unexpected happened. A whole pod, gliding beneath me. They swam so gracefully, leaping and diving through the waves beside my raft, as if they knew I was there. I don't know why, but seeing them stirred something in me. They weren't afraid. They weren't lost. In that moment, I felt less alone. Maybe, I thought, life is still out there. Maybe I'll be okay. It was the first time I truly believed I might survive. On the fourth day, I saw something else. A speck in the sky. A tiny plane. I tried to wave. I had no strength. But the pilot saw something. A white shape drifting in blue. He saw me. The pilot, flying ahead of a Greek freighter, called the Captain Theo, spotted my cork raft, floating in the blue. He radioed the ship immediately. Object in the water. Possibly a survivor. The Captain Theo changed course at once. The crew rushed to the side. As they approached, they saw a small girl, barely alive. Her blonde hair tangled. Her eyes swollen shut from the sun. Sharks had begun to circle beneath me. But the crew didn't hesitate. A sailor threw a line into the water. Another climbed down into the sea, pulling me gently from the raft into his arms. My tiny body was limp. I couldn't speak. But I was still breathing. The freighter radioed ahead to the U.S. Coast Guard. When they brought me to a hospital in Miami, the doctors were stunned. I was 11 years old and had survived 4 days alone at sea, surrounded by sharks, with no food, no water, and the loss of my entire family. In the days that followed, the truth began to unravel. Julian Harvey, the man who left me to die, had murdered his wife. Then he killed my family to cover it up. Before the police could question him, he took his own life in a motel room. He left behind a note, but no apology. He never imagined I'd live to tell the tale. But I did. I spent years trying to heal, to understand. For a long time, I stayed silent. But as I grew, I realized that telling my story wasn't about pain. It was about hope. That even in the darkest places, in the middle of nowhere, a little girl's courage and faith could carry her through. I changed my name to Tear Joe. I built a quiet life, worked as a water safety advocate. But I never forgot my family. Or the 4 days I spent alone, in the hands of the sea. And the miracle that let me survive.